What's in today's battle? Oh, they're coming in with their shields. That's actually a nice touch. Let's see what that's like. Just slow it down a little bit to give you an idea. They charge up their shield, which is actually a nice touch in this updated version. This one is a Roman Civil War, which will be in the title, of course. And I've pitted 10,000 against 10,000. Now, it was commonplace for Rome to have plenty of civil wars in their history. Slow motion as we go in. It'll be hard to differentiate the sides. Sometimes they had different colours. I'm sure they did different things, of course, if they had similar uniforms. We should do it in real time, otherwise it will be here for a long time. But as we can see, end up in the beginning of a crush. If you can at this point try and guess which side's going to win, you could be looking at the numbers, but they're, remember, evenly matched. Both sides have the same amount of strengths and weaknesses, trying to outflank each other, giving it a slogging match with sword and shields. No javelins or archers in this battle, no cavalry, no ballistas, no throwing spears either, or any sort of other weapon. That's what it looks like in the front line. Sound is off because I'm doing a voiced recording. If we just do slowly, this is how they, I mean, they really are close right up. The Romans, of course, did have tactics, and these shields became iconic, as well as the helmet developed over time. More rounded, then came with cheek pieces, and then with the neck guard and the back guard and all sorts, which all developed over the centuries as Roman Empire expanded. The shield's the classic curved shape to make the turtle used for charging slowly, as a turtle does, where they could actually shoot from or stab through when they opened up with discipline. Very professional, of course. Although they had professional soldiers, and then of course they had auxiliaries. Auxiliaries, I believe, had to take 25 years before they could become a citizen. Right? So if they served and survived 25 years of service, they could gain citizenship, retirement as well. And they were usually used in the front lines, the auxiliaries first, and they usually were denoted with chainmail, whereas Roman soldiers would have armor plates, as you can see with these sorts of Roman soldiers. Just check them out on the flanks here. It's a one-on-one battle. Segmented armor, so they could move around in. Of course, armor was being used before this during the Bronze Age, and then the Iron Age followed. And steel making, of course, so stronger weapons and so on. Now you'll see the Bronze Age, you'll see because of their bronze colour. The problem with bronze is it's a soft material. And even though they were used for swords and things like axes for cutting down trees, there was always have to be a blacksmith on hand because the blades would go dull very quickly and it had to be resharpened. So when they found iron and started producing iron, much stronger. So the switch was there. If you want to get an idea what big bronze battle looks like and what it looks like in bronze armor, watch Samson and Delilah. Victor Mature as Samson. I think it's Vivian Lee as Delilah. Angela Lansbury's in there as well. And they wear a lot of the bronze sort of armor that you can see, which have been in the Bronze Age, which must have been the Bronze Age, if taking from that storyline's timeline. It's a good film, actually. I have seen that. I last watched that a couple of years ago, I think. partly as to remember Angela Lansbury, who just passed away at the time a couple of years ago. Because it was a good story. I want to watch it in full because I hadn't seen it for a long time, many years. But I've seen that film because you probably like me, are a film buff. You've got your own genres that you like. So that film I have seen half a dozen times in my life at least. A sort of biblical story, at least it's mentioned in the Bible, I believe. And it gives you an idea, and you'll see a big battle, of course, of, you don't know the story, Samson, not to be a spoiler, of the battle that he takes on with them, with the jawbone he uses. You'll see wave after wave of soldiers, and you'll see that sort of bronze armor. But of course, the Romans here, they wear the steel armor plating. They look a bit more like centurions with the crescents on them. It might be a way you can get other units probably and mix them and put them in there, which other people do and I may do in the future. But for now, we're just seeing a Roman civil war of 10,000. This is going to take some time. So there's two ways I can do this now, actually. I'm going to watch how the is developing. There's the blood trail. There's the long front line where they're fighting. It's still relatively even. One side is slightly beating the other. There are some single battles going on like this on the periphery or the flanks. I can't even tell which soldier from which side this is fighting these two. Now, normally in the previous battles where I wasn't voicing, because I've started voicing now, some people have requested I would record the video and then zoom it in, which is my choice now that I can do. If we just have a quick look at slow motion, see how they fight. Nice touches actually with the way the graphics and how they've made it do. I've made it used to attack and defend. Do it in real time. Because it's taking long enough as it is. It's thrusting, stabbing, thrusting, hitting the shields. The shields, in a lot of cases over history, well, until, quite recently, 10, 20 years ago, watching these history documentaries, they were talking about, the shields. They weren't just used as defense. They were used as attack as well, because you could push against. And if you play things like Warband or Bannerlord, I played that, and I play it in multi, and people do that to you as well. They use it offensively, not just as defense. And I'll need to figure that one out myself. I played Bannerlord, I think yesterday or the day before, and someone was doing that again. And it really can off-put your opponent, push them back, open them up, push their shield away, where you can just attack them with your sword or spear, whatever you've got to hand. So going back to this battle, as I said, it's going to take some time because it's down to half. We can do it in its entirety, or my second option at this point is I could just stop the voicing, just let it record, do the voicing at the end, and then speed it up at this point. I have to make a special note of doing that if I was to do that. But for now, because I don't know how these are going to be received and commented on, I'll leave it as is because I've given some information, as I said. Bronze, turning the Bronze Age into the Iron Age. For a long time, I actually thought bronze would follow iron, but I've learned since, to remind myself many times and reading over again and again over the many years, is that iron followed steel because, as I said before, bronze was a softer material. They made bronze and they were using it for everything: armor, helmets, axes, swords. And like I said, it was a softer material and it was always needing to be sharpened. Steel, not so much. Much harder, much tougher. Once sharpened, it would last much longer. So as you see, one side cannot flank the other one, even though they try. One side is slightly dominating the other, team one. So it looks like it's literally going to go down to the wire unless it's a reversal, which there could be. The other way it could go is that one side really starts dominating, starts building up their troops as they take out the others, starts outflanking them, get more hits in, so that number of team two starts decreasing rapidly. They can't pull something out of the bag. I also go along the line here, as you can see, it's making a sort of gentle S shape as they're fighting. Oh, and this side is actually now, it is encircling them. So, and this side hasn't got much in the second line reserves to defend being outflanked. So they can actually dominate them on this side, encircle this small pocket, and then push forward, leaving only the centre reserves to come in and help later. So it looks like it's team one. I'm assuming it's team one. But whoever's on this flank is really outflanking them. Oh, they've broken through. They're really going to outflank them now and try and encircle them big time here. So this team is trying to outflank them. So what's happening on this side? Is it going to be on the reverse? Yes. The other side is trying to outflank. And they are doing that job to a smaller degree. So if they can't do it on a bigger scale, they're not going to have the reserves to take on the final force, depending on how many people are left in the centre. They've broken through. So they're splitting them here. So they are going to get a reserve when they encircle them here. They'll crush this force. Interesting. But they're going to crush this force and enjoy the main force. So it's still almost all to play for. Even though one side's got about maybe 300 more team, 200-300 more. There you go. As you can see, they've taken the pocket out. They're just going to try and swamp and encircle the centre line of this side. We have to bring in the reserves. Yep, they're using a reserve, but as you can see, this centre has plenty more reserves to rely on. But they are encircling them on this side, so they do have reserves here. But will it be enough? Again, I can't even tell if it's side one or side two, because it's Roman Civil War, of course. We'll find out at the end. But one side is that slight dominating the other one, so they could still win it unless Team 2 can pull something out of the bag with an outflanking manoeuvre. I would say it's doubtful, but it is still possible. You also will have noticed I may have switched to once a week recording, and as we can see, it's going into the night. So that's another nice touch. It's gone from daylight to nighttime because this battle is going on. Although it's going to be quite dark, you can still sort of see what's going on. So I'll stick with it. And as I was saying, you might have noticed I might be doing this once a week. The reason for that is because I've finished recordings, I've been busy, I've got problems. There's also builders next door making it a bit difficult to record. They're here 6 days a week. They're only supposed to be here 6 days a week, half day on Saturday, but they're here all day. And of course, a few problems as well. So there's that going on. But if I get enough recordings, I might switch back to twice a week. But as I said, because I'm voicing them, it takes longer if I do a voice all the way through, as you can see. As you can see, they're now encircling this side. On this flank, the other side is encircling them. And their encirclement is a bit smaller, but it's still 400 now, 400. So unless Team 2 can pull something out of the bag, It's an almost foregone conclusion. We'll have to see right at the end. Their centre reserves are being used, as we can just about see. Because I've got building work going on as well, I hope the noise doesn't increase from the back. So that's going to be really, really annoying, since I spend a lot of time at the PC recording and doing other things. It's going to make recording voice stuff more difficult. It's going to be another headache. Building work's been going on for 9 months now. Big job, including putting some new stuff in. But that's just what's going on at the moment. I'm recording this in August 2024. The end of August. As we can see, this battle, they're bringing their reserves and the side, and this side is attacking that side. So if the teams were even, we really couldn't pick a side. But one side is down 500 players now, so it's pretty much sure that they're not going to recover. The battle is playing out from the centre and ending up into, again, a single line, but at a 90-degree angle to where it was because of the trying to outflank each other. So now they're facing off against each other, but at a 90-degree angle, which is what does happen in some of these battles. I do realise I'm using, if you wanted to know, I'm using a microphone that I bought, which is independent, not a headset, and not a microphone that you got hanging down that you see people using, making videos for, Gogglebox watching or reviewing. It's a push-to-talk microphone, so I could do that if it comes to shove, which I might have to do if I ever gonna belch or something and I'll remember not to do that. But we'll see how it goes. As I said, this is going to be quite a big, long recording, and if you stuck with it, good for you. But like I said, hopefully you found some of the information interesting. Like I said, if you're interested in find out what the sort of like bronze and warfare and armor, there's probably plenty of videos on YouTube you can find as well. But if you want to see it in a film, in a historical or at least a biblical context, and what they look like, they're very shiny, very, very good actually. I find it a very good way to see what bronze armor would have looked like. They are the Hittites he was fighting against, if I remember correctly. But you can go and check that one out anyway, the film. See that, as well as watch the movie. It's a good acting, and of course what happens in it, if you don't know what happens in that story as well. Do watch some videos like that as well, people reviewing. I've watched that, not for that film. I'm actually considering doing a review on things that people didn't know about them reviewing films, and things that I picked up until I didn't realise from watching their reactions. One film I'm thinking of in particular, but that's another story for another time. If I ever get around to doing that, because that's going to be some work to do that. So as we can see here, they are forming a very unique shape now. It's not a straight line. It is coming down to the end. The team 2 now is down to 500, and they're going to be encircled, as we can see. And it's 700 behind, and soon it's going to be even bigger. So as they've got less to defend and being struck from both sides, they are bringing from this flank reserves. But looks like Team 1 has got plenty of reserves, even though they're trying to hold out this side with reserves with Team 1. Team 2 sorry, team 1 has got that. Team 2 is trying to block being surrounded by team 1 here, as we can see. So they're taking their strength away from this final centre line. And they're being outflanked. They're going to be outflanked on both ends. They're covering this angle, this side here, this flank. But they're going to be taken out and encircled. As you can see, they're bringing in their reserves from the centre to bolster the flank. And they keep taking from the centre to bolster the flanks, where they're almost encircled. And team 1's got just under 1,000, but team 2's got 300. There's 700 behind. It's a pretty much foregone conclusion when this sort of thing happens, as we've been seeing in the battle. The stronger team has got more hits, more angles to attack from, more sides, especially if they encircle the enemy. They will take more damage, kill faster, and the enemy can recover. As you can see there, as I said, team 1 is slowing down on their deaths, but team 2 is at a steady rate, and that will only increase as they get smaller and smaller. So it's pretty much a foregone conclusion now. They're fighting in the night. You should be able to see it quite relatively clearly. They try not to be outflanked, but they're about to be encircled. Their centre line is just this small pocket here now, which they're taking away troops from to cover their own flanks. While their sides, they're almost completely encircled now. They lose this side. They're trying to take from their almost non-existent centre. And they're enclosing on one side to close this circle. They're almost done now. The encirclement is almost complete, and there we are, encircled. And it's the last 29 or so. You know, it's hard to tell. It will look better with two even sides with different colour uniforms, which I might have to look to see if there is a Roman colour later on. And there we go, team 1 has won with 852. We'll just pan out again. I like to see how the battle formed. As you can see how the battle formed. There's the blood trail. It's a long line. The third turn 90 degrees, and so I hope you like the information on that. You can let me know what you thought. Commentary as well, if you like. And thanks for watching.